All right, good afternoon. We are back. It is 1 o'clock Mountain Time, and we're ready for our next demonstration. We talked to you a little bit earlier that we were going to show you the 1380. Before we do that, though, we want to again remind you that we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on WeinigHolz-Her.com. All those places are places that you can watch this live. You can also see this later. So if something comes from this session that's very interesting that you'd like to know more about, and you want to go back and listen to it again, it's all going to stay up. Also, if you want to know more, I have neglected to remind everyone that we are available to do Zoom demonstrations as well. If you see something that you want to know more about, we can do a private virtual demo. Of course, here we can do private demos. You can come in and see the machine here at Access Machinery. All right, we're about to get started, but the first thing I wanted to do, we've been talking a little bit about our technicians being so great. We have another technician that is local here to Access Machinery, and I wanted him to have a chance to tell you guys a little bit about him. So Jeff, come on over. This is Jeff, service manager with Access Machinery, and I'm going to give him just a couple of minutes to tell you a little bit about who he is, what he does, and how long he's been with Access.
Thank you, Andy. Hello, I'm Jeff Canning. I am the service manager here at Access Machinery. I've been with Access for 13 years now, working alongside HolzHer and Weinig. I am AAR certified on the Edgebanders and the vertical panel saws.
Very good. So there's been some talk about the AA certified. We have different levels of certification that we can give to technicians. We do training sessions for technicians in Mooresville, and so if you're AAR, is that what you said? AAR certified, that's like the highest level that you can be certified. Kevin Grimion, which you've seen on a lot of the streams that we've been doing, he gets these guys certified. So that's a big deal. So here locally and in this region of the country, you've got one of the top technicians. If you hear AAR certified, then you've got one of the best guys. All right, so you want to tell us a little bit about Wes? You going to come in too and talk some about the? I mean, we teased everybody that you were going to come and do this presentation, Wes. So we got to make sure and bring you in, right? So. He's got his notes. He doesn't need any notes. All right, so we're going to learn a little bit. I'm going to turn it over to these guys. We're going to learn more about the 1380 Lumina Edgebander from HolzHer. Take it away, guys.
It's me again, guys. Sorry I have to punish you with all of this again. What we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about what the difference is with the Lumina Edgebander versus a standard Edgebander. We're going to basically run through the different levels of the machines as well as what they can do. First, what we're going to talk about is what we call in the industry, they call it laser edge banding. What we do that's a little bit different than everybody else through HolzHer is we use a system called near infrared. So basically what we're doing is we're activating an infrared lamp, then we can heat up the coextruded edge banding and then apply it. We actually have a guest here that's from an edge banding company. Her name is Julie Moss, and she's with SSI. And we're going to talk a little bit about coextruded edge banding and what coextruded edge banding is. So, Julie, you've been in the edge banding business a little while. Can you tell us a little bit about what SSI is and what coextruded edge banding is?
So SSI is we distribute decorative surfaces, higher end products, and to go along with that, we needed to identify some higher end edge banding to really create that upscale look. And so one of the edge banding, the new technology type of edge banding that we call it, is designed to work with laser, with hot air, and with NIR technology. And so the edge banding that works with all of those, specifically with NIR, is always comprised of two parts. It has a top layer, which is what you see, and then it has a bottom layer, which is called the functional layer. And the functional layer is the actual layer that's designed to melt and bond with the edge of the board. And so there's two ways to create that type of edge banding. The best way to create it is what we call a co-extruded edge banded product. So the makeup of the edge banding is typically polypropylene. And so you have the top layer made of polypropylene, totally through colored, and then you have the functional layer, which is also polypropylene. And it has in it little adsorber molecules that are designed to react when the infrared beam hits it. They get excited and they cause that functional layer to melt. Now, what's important about the co-extruded product is because both are the same molecular makeup, both are the same color, when they come out together as a co-extruded product, they form a bond that's not breakable together. And then the functional layer is designed to melt at a little lower temperature than the top layer, and as it goes through, the NIR beam hits it and it creates this essentially a monolithic looking gorgeous product. The other way to create an edge banding that works with the NIR technology is what we call post-extruded. So you have one type of edge banding like an ABS or a PVC, and then after the fact, after it's been created, people come in and put a functional layer onto it. Now, there's a couple of problems with that. One obvious problem is where those two meet, there's a weakness and a point for delamination. The other weakness there is that typically that additional layer that's applied is not the same color. It's either a glue or it's it's typically always a polypropylene, but it's not a true color. And so you're really losing the benefit of this upper technology product if you're really going back to something that's going to show a glue line. So we're really excited. We offer MKT, it's called PP0, co-extruded product, and it's stocked in North America.
How many different colors and types can you do with that type of banding?
Right. Well, we stock around 100 SKUs right now. We're adding constantly. We have high gloss, super matte, solid colors, and then we also have textured designs which go with all of the new textured melamines that are so popular. And again, the point of having a co-extruded NIR finish product is that you're really getting a high-end look. And so the other exciting thing that we're doing when we make our edge banding, it isn't extruded in a little thin stream. It's actually co-extruded in about a 3-foot wide log. And so we're able then to come in and slit to all different widths. And we're having a lot of success with customers who are wanting to use the edge banding on floating shelves or gable ends for cabinetry, and you're able to actually get that wider width NIR co-extruded edge banding.
So that makes it so that a customer can then call you and then have a custom edge banding designed for them depending on what type of material they're doing. So if they're a larger customer and they're producing a lot of panels that are the same, they can go ahead and call you up and you will be able to meet their demands?
Absolutely. We have obviously a huge range of product in stock to cover most of the current, certainly high gloss and super matte panels that are on the market right now. And we're adding those to those daily, and we're added to the texture side of things daily. But we have a fast lead time if you're looking for something more custom for your specific program. We partner with you and come alongside. Hold stock, we're based in Randolph, New Jersey, and also we have a real small MOQ. So it's really a very flexible way to be able to get into this new technology edge banding.
Well, thank you. How about we run some product?
Let's do it.
Okay, thank you. So what you can do with this stuff, now obviously there's different colors, different types, and different ways to apply this type of technology. As she said, there's laser, there's hot air. HolzHer did things a lot different, and they went with the NIR because of the versatility of this. So one of the things that Jeff and I would like to show you is on the computer how easy it is to set up and get ready to run instantly. A lot of our competition, it takes them 20 to 30 minutes to get the machine up and running from cold to running. With NIR technology, it's instant technology. It's just energy. So Jeff, why don't you show us on the screen here the library for the NIR edge banding.
Okay, so like he said, it's extremely simple to set these up for the NIR edge banding. What we got here is we got our NIR station right here under the button. all the bandings are going to come in, they're going to have a power rating on them. We use kilowatts when we're setting up our power, but we're going to have different calculations from different manufacturers. So what we can do is if we go into the station, we can select our menu and we can get an entire menu of preset banding manufacturers and some of their settings, or we can actually create our own with a new menu. The machine has a calculator built in that we can use to set up the banding power to get converted to kilowatts. It's a very simple process. Like I said, for an example, we're using the MKT banding. They're going to run off joules. We need to convert that to the kilowatts. So we can go in, open up a new line, open our calculator, and it'll give us a process here that can convert everything. We just simply go up, we select our manufacturer of our edge banding. So we'll scroll down, we got MKT, and now it'll convert over from joules to get our power rating. This particular banding is 21 joules. So we can put in 21. We can go down here, give it an ID of any number we choose. So we can just go 0015. We'll give it a name, which this is MKT PP Gray. So we'll just label it PP Gray. It'll have a height on it. We can set the height, which is 23 millimeters. And then we set our chain feed minimum and maximum. This machine's minimum is a 10 with a maximum of 18. With all these info entered, we can now hit generate and we're going to produce our kilowatt power. So we'll run from a minimum of 3.2 to 5.8 kilowatts, depending on our track speed, what we set it for. It'll automatically adjust accordingly. And these are starting ranges, and then we can adjust from there if we need a little extra bond or a little less.
So as you can see, it's very easy to take and adjust this machine to get what you want based on the brand, based on the color. So one of the reasons that we need to make those adjustments is obviously black absorbs energy and white reflects energy. So as the colors change, what we need to do is adjust those joules so that they will activate that layer properly. So what we're doing now is we're starting off dead cold right now. The machine has not been running. We're just going to basically set it up, and Jeff is going to go ahead and start firing up some parts. So what he's going to do now is choose the program, and he's going to choose the type of tape and basically hit run. As this is going, you're going to see it'll pull the tape in. You'll see a light activate back in the back. It's protected. That's all the setup that was needed. There's no preheat or anything. It's instant. Now, as you can see on there, we've got a protective layer on the top and a protective layer on the edge because this is a high gloss panel. This is one of the best ways that you can put a high gloss on and have a perfect edge right off the machine. As you can see, there's no glue line. What we've done is we've taken the edge banding layer and we've bonded it to the surface layer of the high gloss panel. So now what we want to be able to show is there's several edge banders in the HolzHer line. This line is what we call the Lumina, and the Lumina edge bander uses this electronic station here This is what activates the edge banding and where the NIR unit is placed. One of the things that we can do now is we're going to be able to run EVA and PUR glue through this machine. And what we're going to do is we're going to have Jeff go ahead and change from Eltronic to PUR glue. And we're going to talk a little bit about PUR glue as well. So Jeff, why don't you go ahead and do the changeover, and we'll watch it, how long it takes to do that changeover. As you can see, we've got a cart. The cart is specific to the unit. He lines it up, locks some feet. He's going to hit remove a couple of electric and air connections. It uses an HSK connection to lock the unit in place. Rolls it onto the cart, it locks onto the cart. There's a place for the connections to mount so that it keeps them clean. The cart rolls out of the place. Now he's going to go grab the glue station. As you can see, there's some bearing rails that line up with the machine. It's going to couple. Has a couple of wedges that line it up. He locks the cart in place to keep it from rolling away. Releases the connections. Rolls right in place. Hooks up the electrical and air connections. Now he's going to couple the HSK coupler. It'll go solid. The machine tells him when it's ready. Now by replacing this, the machine automatically now knows that it's got a glue station in here. In this glue station we have PUR glue. So that's how long it takes to go from one station to the other, one type of edge banding to another. So what I want to do also now is I want to invite, we've got another guest here from Joe Watt, and I'd like to ask him a few questions about the properties of PUR glue. So, good. Hey, tell us a little bit about yourself here.
My name's Todd Wilson. I'm with Joe Watt. Been in the adhesive business since the mid-'80s and worked in all facets of the wood business and the aerospace business.
So, PUR, is PUR scary?
No, not at all. PUR is nothing more than a polyurethane in hot melt form. It's a very high performance reactive system. It cross-links in the presence of moisture and sets with loss of temperature. So you run it just like you do in EVA and then go through the recommended cleanup procedure at the end of the day.
So with PUR, what are some of the applications of PUR? Everybody kind of wonders, why do I need to use PUR?
You need to use PUR if you're really going to run in a high performance environment. If you're making cabinets, putting them in a container, putting them on a ship and shipping them around the world. If you're making institutional bathrooms, doctors' offices, surgical suites, things like that where there's a lot of moisture, solvents, which are cleaners, are just really brutal on them. If you're going to bond stainless steel, copper edgings, or aluminum edgings, PUR is the only way to go.
So how many different kinds of PUR are there? I know with EVA you got all of these different colors and different things. What types of PUR are there?
In the world of HolzHer, there's really one. 60940, I'm sorry, 60740. It's been a long day. Been a long day here. And it is a slightly filled product and will give you great mileage and a very, very skinny glue line. I challenge anyone to take a PUR and put it up against a hot air tape and try and make the glue line smaller. You can't see it. If it's done right, it's great.
So with PUR and EVA, what is the difference of PUR and EVA as far as how they look?
A filled EVA, you will not get the glue line too invisible. You will always have a very fine glue line there. An unfilled EVA, I saw Jeff last year make a panel that had virtually an invisible glue line. And you put it next to a panel that was made with PUR, and it was every bit as good.
One of the things I noticed with the PUR is also the viscosity. It seems like the PUR is a little bit runnier, where EVA is a little bit thicker.
Yeah. Just the technical term is rheology. The way the products flow, they appear to be that way. Absolutely. And they don't have the hot tack or the grab that the EVAs have. So on a hot day, like in Phoenix, Arizona, you'll edge band with PUR and you'll be able to just take your fingers and lift the banding off. But after 6 or 8 hours, you're never going to get that off. And it has to do with the speed of set and the amount of hot tack it has.
So with PUR, we do have some limitations as far as we need it to be able to stay open, so to speak, in the machine and not lock up our machine. Another question that we always seem to get with PUR is, why is it so darned expensive, and is it really worth it?
Yes, absolutely, it is worth it. You'll look at a filled EVA glue line on cost per lineal foot will be about 1.4 cents per lineal foot. If you look at an unfilled EVA, you're about 1.8 cents per linear foot. And if you go to a PUR, you're about 3 cents per lineal foot. Now, in a kitchen, you're talking about $5 difference. I mean, and you know that you can put that door above a self-cleaning oven and not worry about it. You can put it next to a dishwasher and never have a problem. You can make it in Salt Lake City, ship it to Dallas, Texas, through Phoenix and Oklahoma, and not worry about it coming apart in a truck. It's very little money to sleep at night, and it's really worth the performance.
Yeah, we've heard a lot about people throwing their cabinets in a container or throwing them in a toy hauler trailer, or whatever you call it, a delivery trailer or delivery van, and going from Salt Lake to Phoenix or Salt Lake to Arizona, showing up and having all of the banding laying on the floor in the trailer when they get to the job. That extra couple of cents a foot sure makes it worth it. So with PUR, what we've been basically telling our customers, if you're working in an environment where there's moisture, we have some customers that ship a lot to Hawaii. They use that PUR because you're not only in a hot environment, but you're also in a moist environment. So what we'd like to do now is go ahead, and I'm going to have Jeff change out from the coextruded material from SSI, and we're going to go ahead and he's going to run the same material but with PUR. So go ahead and start it up, and you're all ready? Okay. So the heat up time on our machines for going in glue is, on a day like today, is maybe 2 minutes. In the wintertime here in Utah, it's maybe 3.5 minutes. So as you can see, the machine sees that we've got the glue station in there, we've got the PUR in there. The melt temperature on PUR is a little bit less than EVA. And so therefore you have a quicker heat up time even. One of the unique things about the HolzHer is we can control the glue line. We can control when it starts, when it stops, and also the height of the glue line. So we're not using a roller to roll the edge on. We're actually extruding the PUR through a nozzle and then onto the edge of the material. As you can see, it's the same type of material, same edge banding, same surface, and pretty close to the same result. A lot of people liken PUR compared to EVA as PUR is honey, EVA is peanut butter. So now we've ran that edge. I just wanted to point out a few other things that are really important when you're running high gloss versus standard materials such as melamine and PVC banding. When you're running a high gloss, what we have to do is we have to be able to protect that material. So on this machine, HolzHer has partnered with Repay, and we put these spray nozzles on the machine. So on this machine itself, we have a spray nozzle that goes on before the pre-mill. This is the pre-mill section right here. The pre-mill is 2 counter-rotating diamond heads. Right here is the spray unit. What we're going to do is we're going to spray the top and bottom of the panel so that now it has a protective layer on it so that glue will not stick to that panel. Then we're going to come down here, and as you notice on the edge of this banding has also a special film on it that when it's going through the machine, the shoe likes to sometimes grab that film depending on the brand of banding, and there's some out there that's blue, and it likes to peel off real easy. It's nice to be able to peel off real easy until you don't want it to. When it's going through the machine, we want that to stay on there. So we have a spray unit inside the machine here that actually sprays that edge, and what it does is when it sprays that edge, it makes it slick so that as it goes through the machine, it doesn't peel it off. On that blue banding, if you don't have that, it looks like somebody shot a Smurf or something in there and blew it all up. You end up with blue banding and blue tape everywhere. So it's real important to have that, that spray unit on there. Plus what it does is it kind of starts to kick. If you get any little bit of squeeze out of the PUR, it starts to activate that PUR and make it so that we don't gum the rest of the machine up with PUR. So this station here is end trim. This station here is a 6 servo top and bottom trim. Typically our competition only has 4 servos on there. And then this is the corner rounding unit. On this particular model, this is the model 1380. We also have this model in a 1375. And then in the Sprint series, which is the same frame machine but without the Lumina, we have a 1327. Oh, I lost my brain. 1327 and 1329. So what we like is we love this corner rounding station. If you got a sample board, Jeff, real quick. With this corner rounding station, this doesn't only do corner rounding, but it also does top and bottom trimming. So what we're doing is we're using the servo-driven top and bottom trimmer, which gets everything just as close as possible, and then we're actually hitting it a second time with the corner rounding unit. So what this unit does, and I'll have Jeff explain that part because he's the technician.
The benefit of the 2-motor corner rounder is on a single motor corner rounder, you're using one set of trimmers to hit top and bottom, but then you're relying on the corner rounder just to come around and get the corners and the edges for the thickness. With the 2-motor corner rounder, you actually get to use it as a top and bottom trimmer as well. So as Wes was saying, we'll use the first station to hog majority of the material down, but then we're using one station to do the finished trim all the way around the panel. So it'll actually hit top, bottom, and sides and corners all on one station. And it's fully adjustable. There's options put in 6 different settings in there to where we could do just the top, just the bottom, just the top corner, bottom corner, back corner, front corner, fully customizable. So you could do a panel with square edges on the bottom, rounded edges on the top. You have full control on this one, plus you're doing it all with the same cutter, so you're getting the exact same profile.
So what that's going to do with a single motor, what we've got to do is we've got to have a blend point right here. So with a single motor, it's only going to go around here and go around here, and then we've got to take and blend what the top and bottom trimmer did right here. With this 2-motor corner rounder, like Jeff said, we're doing everything with one, so we no longer have that blend point. That gives us a perfect edge. This is my favorite part of the whole Edgebander right here, is this station right here. We really feel that does a very good job and will give you a superior quality to what our competition will do. This machine is configured in a number of different ways. I think I started counting servos the other day, trying to figure out how many servos were on this machine, and I think I came up with 18 servos. So on the front end of this machine, on the pre-mill, there's a servo for the pre-mill, there's a servo for the pressure section, servos in the glue station, 6 servos on the top and bottom trim, 4 servos on the corner rounder, 4 servos on the scraper. And then we also on this machine, on the scraping station, it's really important to have extra servos on there to get that fine scrape when you're doing your 3 mil or your textured. We don't want it to take off too much. And then you have a finish scraper on here that when you're doing half mil that takes that extra little bit of the half mil that we like to give it that fine edge as well as the buffing station. This machine, like Jeff says, is 10 to 18 meters a minute. Runs faster than pretty much anybody can load it or feed it efficiently. So we typically, most of our customers, they want to go fast until they have to try and go fast, and then we wear out the customer. So they're running about 16 meters a minute generally on this machine. This machine is also available in a number of different configurations. HolzHer is constantly updating and increasing the capabilities of these machines. There's a new machine out they call the Fast. The Fast machine has tool changers on it. On this level of machine is either the Lumina and the Sprint series is what this level of machine is, and then we have the Industrial, which we go up to the Acura series. On the Acura series, they have tool changers where you can have multiple profile units, and we can put tool changers on the corner rounder and tool changers on the scraping station that are programmable from the front for a number of different profiles. The application for this machine is actually a fairly good budget. We sell this machine into shops that are high-end shops that do a number of different types of cabinets. We have some customers in this area where they sell from the high-end, billionaire homes in Jackson Hole and up in Montana. We have Park City, Deer Valley, the Montage area around here where people are building high-end homes. Also in Las Vegas where they're building high-end homes. These shops are 4- and 5-man shops, but the variety of product that they build is so great that they need a machine like this that has a high versatility. This machine will do everything from high gloss, textured, half mil PVC, solid wood, veneer, whatever it is that you need to apply to that cabinet. One of the things that people will ask is, well, what about my budget? I really don't feel that I'm going to use this machine enough because of the cost of it. It's only going to run 4 hours a day, but no other machine will run what this one will run. So if it's running 4 hours a day and doing the work of what you would hand do in cleaning up and scraping and what, if you're just going to do a budget edge bander, this will more than make up for the cost just because of what it can do. The high-end customer. So we have customers that have 75 employees. This will also fit that same customer. This machine we can convert or can add a return conveyor to it, run it all day long, 8 hours a day, 2 shifts a day, and this machine will more than keep up with what they're doing as far as the volume as well. But one of the things that we like about the HolzHer Edge Banders is we rarely ever get calls from our customers after we install them. When we train them, we like to train the customer to basically a level A tech where if there is a question, that Jeff 99% of the time can answer that question over the phone. And if they can't get a hold of Jeff, they get a hold of Ryan. And if they can't get a hold of Ryan, they get a hold of HolzHer in North Carolina, which is another cool thing with HolzHer. Once you buy a machine from HolzHer, phone support is always free. And that's really nice to have, where a lot of our competition around here, you have to call direct to a call center. They put you in a queue, and then you get a call back later, where with us, you actually get our technician. And that's about all I can think of on this edge bander. It's one of our favorite ones. It's the #1 selling edge bander for us. We sell them all the way from Tucson to Boise, and people just love them.
Thanks, Wes. That was a lot of information. I don't know about you guys, but I was just thinking, holy cow, there's a lot of stuff that happens in this machine. We heard about two different types. We heard about NIR, we heard about PUR. We saw the different types of edge banding that goes along with those. We heard about two motor corner rounding. We heard about the speed of the machine. We heard about the size of the shops this goes into. There's a lot going on. We saw the sections or the stations changed out. That was a lot in 30 minutes. So thanks to the guys for showing us that thing. We really appreciate it. You guys continue to see at home or wherever you're watching from that we have some excellent, some very knowledgeable, very capable people that are out here helping us all across the country. So with that, we're going to wrap this up. Remember, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on WeinigHolzHer.com. We'll be there all day. Also, if you would prefer to have a individual demo, you can show up at one of the locations, or you can request a virtual demo. We do those through Zoom, so we'll make sure that you all remember that. All right, we have a couple of sessions that are left for the day. Right, we're gonna do a tour at 2 o'clock here, which is 4 o'clock Eastern. And then we're going to do the Dynastic machine right after that. So we're going to take a quick break to get reset up, and then we'll see you in about 25 minutes for the tour of Axis Machinery here in West Jordan, Utah.